Mercy the Mad here, and I am firmly on Team Katarin, and Team Khorne, and Team Chaos Undivided, and Team Chaos Dwarfs. Alright, I'm a little bit conflicted about which team I'm on, but there's one thing I'm not conflicted about, and that is that I am ultra hyped for Warhammer 3. And I want news. I want to know the future. I want to know what we're going to get, when we're going to get it. But unfortunately, there's a lot of speculation and there's not a lot of information. In this video, I'm just going to give a quick rundown on 4 of the best Total War Warhammer channels and their latest videos, and explain why they're my go-to for news and predictions for Total War Warhammer 3. First up, we have Loremaster of Sotek. Loremaster's knowledge of Warhammer is encyclopedic. I don't claim to be in any way in the same league as Loremaster of Sotek, but I'm a huge fan of Warhammer Fantasy, and I know enough to know that this guy knows a lot. He is just an expert in Age of Sigmar and Warhammer Fantasy Battles lore. He does live streams where viewers ask him questions, which he answers live on chat with no preparation as far as I can tell, giving completely detailed answers with, just about everything related to the question. It's really amazing. You can be assured he is following all of the Warhammer 3 developments very closely. One of his latest videos goes into detail about who the mysterious Yuri Kovalenko is that Katarin is corresponding with in the trailer, speculates about, how that fits into the story of Warhammer 3. Of course, with any information, you should always be critical of your sources. If Loremaster of Sotek's got any weaknesses, I'd say maybe his predictions can be a little bit off sometimes, just because he knows the lore really well and he's going to tell you how things should be in the background, but that may not be how it actually is when the game comes out. So, I think you can rely 100% on him to tell you what's going on in the background, but, maybe his guesses might not all be 100% right. Next up, we've got Milk and Cookies Total War. India Pride's videos are typically well-researched, well-written, and well-delivered. They're just entertaining, punchy, they move at a quick pace, and give you lots of information in a fun and interesting way. On screen right now is one of his latest videos explaining how he's interpreting the information about the map information that we can see. Really interesting. Another recent video he did went into a lot of detail about all of the different stuff in the background of Cathay that could possibly be turned into different units and legendary lords. It was really interesting. Made me go from kind of not really caring about Cathay to actually being kind of hyped for Cathay. So that was really cool. Like Loremaster of Sotek, and probably most of us, I think Indie Pride can get a bit carried away with what he wishes would be realized in the game rather than, what actually is going to happen. But he was right about Cathay, the Great Book of Grudges. This is a newer Warhammer Total War channel. Nathan puts out short 10-minute videos very regularly, something new every day, sometimes even multiple releases in one day. Nathan typically covers a lot of mods for Total War Warhammer 2, and often does great streams where he discusses the lore as well as predictions for the future of the franchise. This is one of Nathan's really interesting recent videos with his ideas about who the mysterious dying god might be. Great Book of Grudges videos might not be as long or as in-depth, but they just provide a variety and something new every day. The Legend of Total War channel has been around for a long time, and it's the biggest exclusively Total War channel. But you might think it's a bit of a strange addition to this list because Legend doesn't typically focus a lot on reviews and speculation type content. He focuses mainly on game mechanics, exploits, and campaign play. Legend admits that he was never really into Warhammer lore before playing Total War Warhammer 2, but he's actually gotten right into it and he seems to have really learned a lot about the background. Even still, I wouldn't say he's a rival for any of the other channels on this list for knowledge of the lore. Legend does, however, have over a decade of experience observing the way Creative Assembly operates, how their games typically get updated, and how new content gets introduced. He also probably doesn't have quite as much of a personal investment in the Warhammer background, and he's probably got a bit more distance and perspective. He may be a little bit less equipped to guess at the more obscure things that could pop up from the lore, but he's also probably less likely to get sort of overexcited about prospective things, and he generally is going to be pretty sensible with his predictions. Check out his recent video explaining his reasoning why he thinks the Chaos Dwarfs will be the pre-order bonus for Game 3. Obviously, I'm 110% on board with the hype train, and I've got my own, theories, hopes, and dreams for Warhammer 3. Last week I did a talkback radio style live stream where viewers called in on Discord and we just chatted with people from the community about their ideas about Warhammer 3. Like all of you, I'm obsessed with any information we can get about Warhammer 3. Chaos in the Warhammer Fantasy background in general accounts for probably my favorite part of the background, along with the brave men of the Empire that are constantly fighting to hold it back. Although I love the models and the background of the Warriors of Chaos, the way they've been implemented in the game at the moment, I just don't enjoy the gameplay. So I'm really looking forward to them being revitalized, upgraded and enhanced with all of the amazing stuff that Chaos has to offer in Game 3. Chaos Dwarfs is probably the next faction that I'm most excited about in the upcoming content to be released. But honestly, Cathay, Kislev, Ogres, all that sounds amazing to me. But when people ask me for my predictions, whether Nick Ash will be in the game, what the pre-order bonus will be, how this or that race will be fleshed out in Game 3. Honestly, these guys that I mentioned, I think are going to do a lot better job at predicting, guessing, and fleshing out that kind of stuff for you. So rather than give you my predictions, I thought I'll just tell you about 4 of my favorite YouTubers and why I'm going to be going to them as my main source of information in the months leading up to Warhammer 3. Those are my personal top 4. Of course, everyone's going to have their own favorites, and there's a lot of great Total War content creators out there. Zerkovich, Turin, Linksy, Major Kill, Lionheart, the list goes on. If you haven't already, I recommend you subscribe to each of those channels for all your Warhammer 3 news. So if you're new to the Warhammer franchise and you were wondering where to go for your information, I hope that helped you out. Thanks guys, and that's all I got for today.